the only thing that I wanted to do was be a journalist. From childhood, honestly, that was my dream.
But I was so shy, I was so timid, and I was like, I can never do what I see some of those people do on TV.
I joined mass media and communication because I've always wanted to write stories and experiences of people and kind of reach out to people who can help them.
One thing I learned from the media house is you need to learn from the ones that have been there before you.
The media industry can be as lucrative as you take it. If you limit yourself, then it will not take you so far.
Media has helped me. It has helped me work with different companies as their brand ambassador, as their marketing face, different opportunities that have come with that.
Economic opportunities have a positive relationship with relations. If you're not going to relate with people very well, you will not have the opportunities.
When we send students out there on the internship, we need these students to get connections with the long-serving journalists, be it in radio or TV or newspaper.
Journalism is a very good career if you really love it and you're patient to grow with it and in it. Yeah.
We see them well-dressed on TV recounting stories in a very presentable manner. We fall in love with their distinct signature voices on radio. We read their stories in newspapers with so much eagerness and admiration, but rarely do we think about how their journey in the media industry began. Differently, yet quite interestingly, media personalities recount how their careers began.
My journey into media goes way back in high school actually. I got the opportunities of doing different things, auditioning for different TV shows back in Uganda.
In my wildest dreams, I had never thought I could ever do mass communication or even later on journalism.
So for me, the passion for media grew back then when I was in S1 and I was leading the communications team, and we used to do weekly news roundups, and for me the only thing that I wanted to do was be a journalist. From childhood, honestly, that was my dream, and so I had to nurture that dream. Growing up, I started auditioning for different TV stations and radio stations, and then I did a bit of work in Uganda.
So, okay, fast forward, I start my first year, and it was an interesting time. I got to learn so much. I realized that I love reading, and then before I knew it, I'd started writing. But my entry point was when we had to do internship as part of the course at university, and I started my internship. So I thought it would just be an internship, 2 or 3 months, and then I walk away. Until maybe I think I was in my the first month, and then a gentleman who was doing a show on TV walked up to me. So the gentleman says, "I think you would make a great TV show host."
And then I got the opportunity to work for a magazine that was launching here in Rwanda in 2012. So that's how I entered into the Rwandan market, and later I ended up joining the New Times. My last year was 2018. That's when I was able to join RBA as the multimedia editor now, which I'm still doing. Multimedia editor, news anchor, show host, I call it all those things, and editing news and all that, yeah.
And I did my first show there. It was a very, very small show, if I would call it that way. And it was the first live show I did. It was very intimidating. And then that gentleman left me on the show, so I brought in my friend, and then it became a big brand. It was a live talk show with Imi and Nana, and it was a big show. And then before I knew it, I'd gotten another show. Before I knew it, I'd started writing for the New Times as a correspondent in Uganda. Before I knew it, I was already joining different magazines and different writing opportunities. So I kept on accumulating experience both in communications and media. I worked with UBC for about 5 years, and then when I moved to Rwanda, I got a chance to also go to RBA.
When you have the passion, when you have that passion, you learn. When you learn, you evolve. When you evolve, then you become better at your craft. And then that's how people start spotting you, different people. Because journalism is something that you will do. You can be the best of a journalist without even a single degree paper, as long as you know how to write and read and speak to people, relate, and you love it, then you can be the best of journalists.
Yes, TV was my first, because I'd never been on radio unless I was invited to actually be a guest. TV, I had never been on TV in my whole life. I was never even invited, Tracy, come and be a guest on this TV. No, it was the first time I sat on TV and talked for an hour and above. Time is the best teacher, experience is the best teacher. With time, I actually got to learn how to be, how to interview, how to compose myself, how to have different type moods. And yeah, I think I've had a great experience in the media industry.
Despite the facade of fame, the media industry is not known as one that is lucrative. Fortunately, for those who know the secret, they find economic opportunities in the media industry plenty.
Regardless of the times changing and newsrooms starting to pay better now, you still need passion. There is some money as long as you work hard, you stay grounded, you're passionate about it. But in the first 2 years, they are going to be very hard, because in media, there's competition. There's very high competition. Every newsroom is looking out for the best journalist out there. They're looking for a good storyteller. Whether you're young or old, whether you've just graduated or not, you have to have a competitive edge on you.
So also me, the way I've been looking at it, I've not, even when I was still at RBA, I wasn't only doing news at RBA or just doing my talk show. No, I was working with a PR agency, doing different PR strategies, managing events, and it also helped me grow, not only financially, but even professionally. Even the networks that you amass along the way says so much about how you're going to grow financially. Those are the same people that are going to need a particular skill that you need tomorrow, and they'll be able to empower you economically. So I think the opportunities are available. People just need to know how to exploit them.
There's always monetary value in communication or writing stories. If you can write a dope proposal, or you can write a nice report or a nice success story, you can represent a specific organization in the way that they want, and therefore they will obviously pay you for this. It takes time, it takes focus, and it takes passion.
Relationships are very, very, very key in this career, but also, in life, really. So you have to cultivate strong relationships, nurture them, water them on a daily basis.
Economic opportunities have a positive relationship with relations. If you're not going to relate with people very well, you will not have the opportunities. That's why every time someone does something wrong, they're like, that person has totally killed their opportunities. Because they know that if you don't meet me tomorrow, you'll meet my sister's sisters, okay, who knows about the fracas that happened probably between me and you, or you'll meet a company tomorrow that will be asking me to make a reference or to make a recommendation for you. So I feel like if you're not going to relate well, then forget about the economic opportunities. They're not for you. Leave them for those that can be able to relate well with others.
In today's interconnected world, networking is not only important but also a necessity for success in any industry, more so the media and communication industry. While it is wise to focus on finding one's niche in the media, it is equally strategic for a media professional to equip themselves with various media skills as it enables them to seize economic opportunities limitlessly.
But one thing I've seen is if you are not comfortable, if you do not take a comfort kind of zone and stay there and say, I'll only be reading news, or I'll only be presenting a talk show on a certain TV or on a certain radio, or I'll just be writing. If you don't limit yourself to only that comfort zone, then you can gain so much from it. This is what I want to mean. You see now, someone can moderate a particular panel or an event, be an MC. All those are opportunities that are available for people who are able to talk, especially in front of people. As long as someone has an art of public speaking, they are able to do that.
So it's better to have different skills. On the job market, of course, we will decide where do I go with the skills I have gained from school. Am I passionate about filming? Am I passionate about writing? Am I passionate about communication? So that's the importance of having different expertise or different trainings in different units. So it's better you position yourself in different arena whereby you can find opportunity.
In the past, traditional forms of media were the only ways one could get a message out to the public. But in today's digital world, there are a variety of digital platforms for reaching a mass audience, known as social media. While using social media profitably is an art, media professionals are at an advantage as they hinge on their prior exposure on TV, radio, and print to re-establish their brand on social media and thus access even more economic opportunities.
If you're a famous journalist, it comes with the numbers. That means you probably have a big following on these social media platforms that we have these days. You probably have a YouTube account, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have Instagram. All these things can be monetized. You can monetize YouTube in different ways. You can create a side show of your own and make money. Have views, monetize the account. You can have a big following on Twitter these days. People advertise digitally, and you become a brand ambassador of different organizations and institutions.
Also, when you're a media personality, I believe that social media is one other important value that you should enhance to. Because when you use your social media, you get more connections, interactions with your fans, with people who are just happy to see you, people who have to DM you so that you can finally talk to you because they can't get your number. So those brands, usually they come to my DMs or they see me on TV, and then I find myself working with them, and it hasn't been a regret in any case. I'm so grateful to God for that.
You can make good money out of it, but again, it should not take away the fact that you're a journalist. It should not compromise your values as journalist, your ethics as journalist.
Nothing good in life comes easy. Despite the challenges in this rough and tedious journey, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. The greatest asset one must have in order to build a fulfilling career in the media is having a vision and a relentless passion, and these must go hand in hand with patience, discipline, hard work, and good networking.
For me, I will not advise for you to rush for money. First of all, get expertise, get skills, get knowledge from different angles. After that, it's better if we are skilled enough on that thing. Now there is so many ways of making money out of it.
Newsroom work or journalism is something that you grow with the environment, with the people around you, with the relationships that you make. When you're a good journalist, you have to cultivate relationships with editors, with the media managers, with the people who are handling of this sector to make sure that you're out there.
So attitude and discipline go together. When you have a poor attitude of not learning, you're just gonna be like, I know it all, and know-it-alls always don't want to learn. Because one thing I learned from the media house is you need to learn from the ones that have been there before you.
So it's been moving from one pace to another, from one position to another, from one challenge to another, and I think it doesn't stop. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow, and I'm not limiting myself to anything, and I see myself I will keep growing, mostly in the communication industry.
All in all, media, it's a very good industry to me, and especially in this country, it is very growing. It's on a very growing pace and growing very fast, and I encourage more young people to join in.